wife and I were having this conversation about comparison living, but maybe not um, the simple. You see stuff on Facebook, and then you feel like you're not doing enough or you don't have enough. I think people feel like they're doing enough or more than enough, and they don't have enough. And the simple comparison living explanation is you see people on Facebook, especially let's say high school friends, all army buddies, people in similar lines of business, and you you're lacking something, right? Based on what you're seeing on social media. I'm not saying Facebook, but I'm probably the only one that does that more than the other social media services. So whatever social media you're watching, the simple comparison living, in my opinion, is, oh, such and such, we grew up together, and damn, look where they are now. And I've been working, and I don't have X, Y, Z. That's wrong, but that's the simple version of comparison living. That's just another person that for some reason you think you should have more of something or less of something else, like less problems, quote unquote, more money. Um, and it's all fake. You don't know those people. You know how much you don't know those people because you know how much those people don't know you. So apply that to them. What do people not know about you? Right? So think about how much you don't know about those people, quote unquote. It could be family member, it could be a brother or sister that you know, like really, really know. Now think about what you don't know about your brother or sister by looking at yourself of the things that they don't, that you know they don't know about you. That the thoughts that you have, the things that you go through that you don't share. And even if you shared it, they can't experience it like you. So comparison living in that sense is obviously wrong. It's super obvious. You don't know what those people have done or gone through or what they're going through right now while you're thinking that you're in lack and they're in, abundance or something like that. You're really just making that up. You don't know. I have friends that seem like they're always on vacation because they built a lifestyle and have the success they needed to, like, pretty much be out there all the time, like different countries, hanging out and stuff, and I'm happy for them. I'm sure people look at my stuff and what I'm doing and like, oh man, this guy's always in a different state. I mean, I was usually working at the time, uh, eating at different restaurants and, flying everywhere and stuff. Yeah, you don't know that I'm working my ass off all over the country. I went cross country like, I don't know, 3 times last year, driving twice or 3 times, but I drove way more than that. Back to the point. Comparison living, that's the simple comparison living. When you look at another person that for some reason you feel you should be where they are, have what they have, that's extremely wrong. You don't know what they really have, and you don't know what they've really been through. I always tell people, embrace your problems, your challenges, because God gave you those challenges specifically for you to grow you. You do not want somebody else's challenges, even Bezos or the much hated Elon Musk. You don't want their problems. Those are problems created for them, challenges created for them. You have your God-given challenges that are going to grow you and make you excellent and make you great. So now that eliminates, hopefully, if you give it some thought, the other person, comparison living to another person or persons in your life, or pretty much some people that are in that state of comparison living. They think they're in lack. they have multiple people they look at and like, oh, everybody's doing better than me. It's just not true. They could be doing better than you in a lot of ways, but that's for them. That was never for you. That their stuff is their stuff. That's not for you. None of this stuff is yours. All right. God has their stuff for them. He has your stuff for you. When you start looking at what you need to do to get your stuff that God has for you, and you damn know well what it is, so quit playing, okay? Then you start getting your stuff, all right? The other comparison living is a little trickier than the simple, Mary Jane has XYZ and she's married with kids and her husband works out and all of that. That's the other person one. The other one that's trickier is that you're in a state of lack, right? Instead of being in a state of gratitude. And it's actually a hypothetical. You don't even have a reference to what you are even talking about. So you feel like you don't have the things you should have right now, but in reference to a future or a vision that you just made up. Like basically, the best example my wife and I talked about earlier today was when you work so hard to get that high school diploma, and then when you got it, you're like, the fuck? And like, now what? You know what I mean? In her case, she gets a degree every couple of weeks, and it's like, nah, whatever, what's next? But anyway, that's, I think, the first one for most people, because you went to school for all these years, and like, yeah, man, you get your diploma, then you go to college or whatever, and then right after you got your high school diploma, you're like, So you keep creating something, right? Hypothetical, made up, created in your mind that you're gonna reach, right? And once you reach that, then you'll be happy, you'll be in a state of gratitude. That's not true. And the reason it's not true is because of what I'm saying now. Once you hit that high school diploma level goal, whatever goal you set, because you are in a state of lack instead of being in gratitude, you're gonna brush that whatever it is off. You got to be in a state of gratitude right now for whatever it is you have right now, and also be grateful for the things you don't have. It's likely that God is hooking you up by keeping certain things from you, including money. You might hurt yourself with more money. You might not be ready for that kind of money. You might burn it. You might waste it. I've done that quite a few times. And I don't consider that waste. I've usually put my money in businesses and started businesses and stuff like that. I've learned a lot. I've done. I'm doing a lot. But you are exactly where you're supposed to be right now. Exactly where you're supposed to be. If this gets to you because you snuck a phone into prison, you're exactly where you're supposed to be. And from this point, you can actually use your God-given will to go ahead and do whatever it is. You can make it worse, you can make it better, you can take the steps to improve, but it can't be based on a comparison life that you invented in your head that's supposedly better. Once you lose the weight, once you get the degree, once you buy that car, once you buy the house, once you buy the houses. I'm 48 years old. I've been through all of those things that I just mentioned in just 3 seconds. I've done all of that. I've had the properties. I've sold hundreds, bought and sold hundreds of cars. I've done all the things that I set out to do, and it just always seemed like, it was like, oh yeah, well, now what? This is good enough. Be grateful exactly where you are. The other day we had to buy a tire here in Dominican Republic. It's about the same prices over there. That's not the point of this video for sure. It cost me like 85 bucks or something. I don't remember. I had to do the stupid exchange in my head. But there was a time, and I use this example with everyone that, believe me, that I run into and people that I love and share stories with. There was a time when if I got a flat tire, the car was just gonna sit there until the 1st or the 15th. Because I was a very, very long time private in the United States Army. And I was paying child support. So there was a time, and that's exactly what I deserved and where I needed to be at that time. And then now, get a flat, praise the Lord, I just pay for the tire. I had to buy a brand new tire because the damage was on the side. Who cares? It's not the point. So your comparison living that's more complicated has to do with an imaginary conclusion to something that you're trying to do. It's made up. It's a life that's not real. The only life that's real is exactly what you're doing right now. You can improve on it all you want, or you can make it worse all you want. You know exactly what you need to do. If you don't take the steps to make things greater, like you think you want them, then you should really just be happy exactly where you are, because you have a lot of great things. You have 99% great things. If you're watching this, you have sight. If you're hearing this, you have hearing. You know what I'm saying? And I'm glad you're not smelling this, because I just released a silent but deadly. So until that technology, be glad that you can't smell this. But you have way more than what you need. You're in a great place to take charge, to take over. And you can start now, but you know the things you gotta change. You gotta sacrifice some things. If financial safety is one of those things, and you want to start that t-shirt business, but it's gonna cost you a couple of grand and that's all you got, then you gotta give up the financial safety. If you're trying to start a car wash, because the VA gave you some back pay, and you like having the money in the account, but you're like, man, I always did want to start a car wash. Seems like every Black and Latino man has to have a car wash at some point in their life. And that's what I did. I just said, hey, I'm going to start a car wash. Then when it got going and all these problems and things and stuff, I was like, oh, yeah, I'm going to sell cars. And so on and so forth. But it took risk. I risked everything in the bank account and then some, believe me, way more. So you can't make comparisons to an imaginary life. That you think that when you get that thing, then you'll change. Somehow you'll become grateful. Once you have that thing, oh man, once I get that pay raise, then I'll be grateful. You have to be grateful now. You have to practice being grateful now to be able to receive and go for and fight for the bigger thing. And then continue to be grateful, and then just keeps on coming. It'll just keep on raining down on you. Abundance is what God wants for everybody. And you're not going to get it if you're not even grateful for what you have now. That you think you deserve something different or something better, that you should be in a better place in your life. Better in reference to what? What do you know that you didn't invent? Like, what are you referencing? What is better? What is the better that you're talking about? Is it real? It can't be real because you didn't go there. Or you're not there, so how could it be real? Whatever it is, whatever stage of life or something that what are you talking about? because I can go back to when I had way more money than I have today, and I definitely don't want to go back to that reference point. So if I have this imaginary thing where I have like different color Audi R8s outside or something, I don't want that anyway, but I'm just saying that's not real. So how do you know how you're gonna feel if you do get multiple color R8s? And then where's my wife gonna sit? I don't know, because I'm definitely taking my daughter. So my wife's gonna have to wait at the house? I don't know. I'm just trying to be funny. But quit making stuff up. That is the comparison living that'll have you, even with success, personal success, you have this thing that that you made up, that you're supposed to, like, whatever that is. And it's not what you have today. Be grateful today. Because comparing your life, where you are, all these, yourself, your professionally or otherwise, comparing that to something that you made up in your mind is the trickiest one to free yourself from. Because once you hit this milestone, guess what? Next. You hit the next milestone, next. And you're gonna realize you're chasing your own tail. It's the carrot on a stick type deal or whatever. Carrot on a string, whatever. You know what I'm saying? You're just gonna keep looking for something. Be grateful today, and then you'll understand. Start practicing being grateful. Write down 10 things you're grateful for every morning, and then write down 10 that you're grateful for at night. I think in the exercise you're supposed to write things that you're not grateful for. Skip that. Who cares? You know, who cares what you're not grateful for? I mean, that doesn't matter. It won't show you anything. The negatives just have to, you have to wash them off. That's what you brush off, But reason I'm saying this is because I've known a lot of people through employing them or just getting to know them, becoming friends, that have come to me at different times and said, man, I'm X years old and I'm not where I want to be. And it's like, what is that in reference to, though? You made something up where you should be. A big house, a bunch of cars or something. It's fake. Start being grateful today and quit comparison living with a fake you and a fake life that you made up in your fake head. And your business.